Like, I've been seeing a lot of comedians, like, trying to, like, separate themselves from Austin lately. Have you seen this? A lot of comedians that, like, use Joe and his millions of followers to boost their careers, that went on there to promote their specials, that performed at the club, like, really used Joe's power and influence that he was very generous to give them. And all of a sudden, there's, like, a little internet backlash. It's like, and now I see these comics, like, kind of vocally talking shit, that they would talk all this shit, by the way, behind closed doors, because it's what comics do, but like real like rat weasel shit. Because you let this guy enrich you, you used him for his followers, and now you see a situation where like they're getting backlash, and instead you pile on for self-salvation.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fucking weasels in this business, and it's good. I like to see it. I want everybody to know.
All right, so it looks like the Rogan sphere is done holding back. The same day Rogan called out Mark Maron, Schulz also called out Maron, and every comedian that's turned on Rogan. So things are getting really interesting. You know, it seems like now Rogan's friends might have the green light to start trashing other comics. Because like I said in my last video, for a while, Rogan didn't want any conflict between them. He hates it, which is respectable, but we all know behind the scenes there's a ton of conflict, jealousy, trash talking, and backstabbing. So it's nice to see it all be put out in the open now. I mean, after the Riyadh Comedy Festival and comedians trashing the Rogan sphere, it's like we're in a comedy civil war now. Like Schulz, he went off on so many people during this. You know, like with Rogan, you could tell Schulz has also been holding this in for a while, and there's a lot of people he wanted to talk shit about. And it's hilarious because he brings up Bill Burr and Bobby Lee and Andrew Santino and the backlash they've been getting for doing the Riyadh Comedy Festival. And he's like, bad friends are in shambles. Go look at their comment section. Which is ironic because Schulz also performed at the festival and is getting called out in his comment section, but he's in complete denial. It's so funny. He's like, thankfully, our fans don't even care that we did the festival. But if you look at the comments on this podcast, it paints a different picture, and it's pretty similar to Bad Friends' comment section. But at least neither of them have it as bad as Bill Burr. You know, they'll be fine. Like, Schulz is right about that. I'm sure they'll always be making jokes about it, but this will blow over. And I don't think Schultz's fans really care as much as Bill's, especially. Like, this isn't really that surprising from Schulz. But it is hilarious watching him cope over it and act like Bad Friends fans are losing their minds and his couldn't care less. But I think he's just looking for a way to trash Andrew Santino and Bobby because they had criticized podcasts like Flagrant for having on politicians. Also, they had on Mark Maron, and he went off on Rogan while he was on there in the whole Austin scene. So I think Schulz is trying to use this as an opportunity to throw shade at them.
And I know I ain't shit. Y'all ain't shit.
Well, that's the reason why we don't have any pushback, barely any pushback, is because we've never been the virtue signaling type. We've never been the ones out here. Like, there are people that are getting pushback, and like, based on some shit that they had said in the past, I kind of get it. Like, I'll be honest, I kind of get it.
Yeah.
You know, like, Burr's getting all this pushback, and it's like the first time I've seen in his career him not, like, aware of why it's happening.
Yeah.
Like, I saw him on Conan, and again, it's a clip, so I don't want to take clips out of context, but he's like, oh, these people are, like, sanctimonious cunts, and it's like, bro, you did say that Beyonce sold out for blood money.
Yeah.
For going to, like, an oil state.
Yeah.
And then you went to an oil state. So, like, now, I will say, that being said, we've received almost no criticism. You know, Bad Friends is in shambles. That comment section is crazy. You know what I mean? Like, all Bobby did is went there and showed his
Yeah.
showed his dick, and then
It's
Santino,
progressive.
he did an accent, and then they came back. It's not that crazy.
Yeah, it's progressive.
Leave him alone. You know what I mean? Show your dick, Santino, do the accent, and then you come home. It is what it is.
It's so funny, dude.
Yeah, well, look, we got the best fans.
And the comments are hilarious. People are like, did he just gaslight us into saying we don't care? Like, all I see in the comments are fans caring. So this was an interesting strategy. And then they also spent like 20 minutes ranting about how they don't care what people have to say about them doing the festival, while simultaneously addressing what everyone has to say about them doing the festival. I mean, like this comment says, Schulz has got to be the most bothered, unbothered person on the planet right now. So Schulz and Akash addressed the rules of the festival. You know, because a lot of people are criticizing comedians for censoring themselves for the Saudis, since there's a lot of stuff you can't joke about. But apparently Schulz and Akash didn't even read the rules or see what was off limits. Like, Schulz claims he didn't censor himself at all, and he'll say whatever he wants over there, and he thinks there won't be any repercussions. He's like, oh, they don't even really care about the rules, which, thanks to Tim Dillon, we know they actually do. You know, they take the rules very seriously because obviously he got fired before the gig for making a slave labor joke on his own show. So maybe Schulz didn't censor himself while he's there, but we know for a fact there are topics that are off limits.
People came up to me like, you can't talk about X, Y, and Z, and I was like, what? I haven't even looked at this list.
You can say we can't, but we're gonna.
Yeah.
And then you just deal with the repercussions of that, which are nothing. It's nothing ever.
Yeah, but our
It's-
jokes hit.
No. What it is, it's people covering their asses there. It's just
yeah.
like, it's like when you're like dealing with like a marketing campaign.
And then they also started trashing comedians who were talking shit about the comedians doing the festival, like Mark Maron. And it sounds like Schulz refers to somebody else specifically here too, but he doesn't say their name. I think he might be referring to Gianmarco Ceresi. I think he was speaking out about the festival, and he also makes fun of the Rogan sphere.
That's the thing when these fucking comics are like trying to be self-aware when they're shitting on us. They're like, just for the record, we didn't get an invite to the real.
We know you didn't.
Yeah.
You can't perform outside of Brooklyn.
Exactly. Like,
You do musical theater crowd work.
yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, your
1000%.
comedy isn't good. Why would they want you?
Look at that audience of yours. I bet I can count the minorities on one hand.
What a sacrifice to not go to the festival you weren't invited
Yeah,
to.
they don't know you exist. It's not
Yeah.
because you're a problem. It's not because you speak truth to power.
Yeah.
It's because you speak truth to upper middle class white people and 10 minorities who want to fuck upper middle class white people.
Just pat yourselves on the back.
Yeah.
That's it.
Go
Yeah.
to a Mark Maron show. Count the minorities.
Exactly. Yeah,
I
yeah,
doubt you get.
yeah,
I
yeah.
doubt you get to the second hand.
Yeah, where are those minorities he cares so much about?
And then Schulz starts going in on comedians who have turned on Rogan, which he doesn't name anyone specifically, but it sounds like he has a lot of people in mind. So shit's getting serious. Like, Schulz goes off and calls them two-faced snake weasel rats, and he claims the comedians are just going with the tide. Like, they went on Rogan when it was more beneficial, and now that his podcast isn't what it used to be and public sentiment has shifted, comedians that were former guests of his are jumping on the hate train.
It's like, and now I see these comics like kind of vocally talking shit, that they would talk all this shit, by the way, behind closed doors, because it's what comics do, but like real like rat weasel shit. Because you let this guy enrich you, you used him for his followers, and now you see a situation where like they're getting backlash, and instead you pile on for self-salvation,
Yeah.
not get your boys back and refute some of the rumors that exist on the internet.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fucking weasels in this business, and it's good. I like to see it. I want everybody to know, because they're going to get canceled for some shit in the future. They're going to not live up to the purity test. And Joe's the type of guy that he would have had your back. He would have had you on the biggest platform in the world to explain yourself. He would have given you that opportunity. But now, you know, you're showing who you really are.
Also, comedy scenes are comedy scenes. Like, Brooklyn was the most annoying comedy scene.
Yeah.
Probably still is. I don't need to perform there anymore.
This thing that's like they're going like all the comics and the whatever. It's like, listen, the majority of comics at a comedy club suck. Okay? They do. I go to the cellar and roll my eyes at half of these motherfuckers before I gotta go on and mop up the bombs that they fucking do. Okay? Now, Joe can no longer do something for you, or Tony can no longer do something for you, because that's where it really comes down. When going on Joe Rogan made you a millionaire for 6 years in a row, all these comics were fucking quiet. They were complimentary. They were being so sweet because they wanted to get in. Now that going on Joe Rogan once doesn't automatically give you a career, and now that Kill Tony is focused on more like character-based people, now they no longer see their salvation in these two people. So now they're having these honest conversations. Oh, they're saying the R word a lot. Shut up, retard. Do you know what I mean? I'm seeing these comics. It's just so two-faced snake weasels, little rats.
Yeah.
And this is kind of who they are, though, to be honest. Like, these are the conversations they have in private, and then they kind of change face. So maybe it's even better that they're finally have the balls to be authentic.
I mean,
now.
look,
Yeah, so it sounds like shit's hitting the fan here. You know, those comedians goofing on Rogan really touched a nerve. Like, I figured it was getting to him, but I didn't realize it was this bad. And I'm not totally sure who Schulz is talking about, but at one point it definitely sounds like he's referring to Stavros Hakias, who's been on Rogan's podcast, but he's not someone whose career was made by Rogan. But Schulz refers to him because he did a podcast with another comedian, and I think she made a trans joke or something, and he called her out on it and said she had Austin brain. And that clip got a lot of attention. And Schulz also mentions how this person was on a podcast that's known for saying offensive stuff, which sounds like he's referring to Town. So I think he's definitely talking about Stavros. And also it sounds like he could still be talking about Andrew Santino and Bobby Lee, you know, because they had on Marin and they also criticized the Rogan sphere. But then recently Santino went on Rogan's podcast and did Kill Tony. So after that, people thought everything was fine between them. But now hearing this, it sounds like, who knows? You know, it sounds like Schulz thinks he's a backstabber. So also I think he could be referring to Anthony Jeselnik, because he's been making fun of Schulz and the Rogan sphere for a while now, but I guess not as much recently, and those comedians seem to respect him a little more, so it's possible Schulz isn't thinking of him. And obviously, I mean, he's been on Rogan's podcast, but Rogan's not responsible for his career either. So then also, I'm sure Schulz is thinking of Bill Burr and maybe Dan Soder. He's another guy that's been on Rogan's podcast before, and he's taken some subtle shots, kind of more so at the people that follow Rogan and the comedians that latch onto him, like Schulz. And then also he had on Mark Maron recently, so I'm sure that did it. You know, it sounds like if you have on Mark Maron, the Rogan sphere hates you. But none of these comedians owe their careers to Rogan. Like, I'm sure they really appreciate him inviting them on and would admit Rogan's very gracious to comedians and loves helping them out and seeing them succeed. But I don't think it's out of line for them to joke about or criticize Rogan just because he had them on his podcast once. I mean, obviously, I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but I wouldn't say these comedians are stabbing him in the back. Even though it does seem like Andrew Santino might be a little two-faced. You know, he criticizes podcasters like Rogan and has Maron on, who's known for trashing Rogan, and really doesn't push back at all once Maron starts going off on him. But then when Andrew has something to promote, he'll go on Rogan's podcast and be nice to him and act like none of that happened. So also Schulz acts like all these comedians are just kicking Rogan while he's down and only trashing him now because it's popular. But there is a lot of valid criticism of Rogan, and his podcast has changed quite a bit. Like, some comedians, I'm sure, are jealous and just piling on because they sense weakness, but a lot of this is just cope. I mean, Schulz acts like the only reason comedians feel comfortable criticizing Rogan now is because his podcast isn't as popular, and it seems like he thinks it's out of line for comedians to make jokes about Rogan.
I just think it's so corny. You use someone to enrich yourself, and the second they're going through something, you immediately abandon them, and then you could say nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you have to act. Now you have to say something. You have to have a word. It's like, yeah, okay. Well, now we know who you are. Even though we always knew, now everybody knows who you are. And your fans probably...
No,
like,
some of them I'm surprised by.
Really?
Some of them I'm like, I thought you were a stand-up dude, man. I thought you were a stand-up fucking guy. And you were not.
Yeah, that is the epitome of a...
What's changed? Because I feel like...
They don't see their salvation in him. Comics are loyal to their salvation.
Sorry, what are you saying?
Like, I feel like when Rogan was in LA, it was everybody got along. It was really kumbaya in the comedy scene. Like, no one really attacked other comics, even if they disagreed with them. What has changed?
This is my opinion. Joe Rogan was the way to make it for a 6 or 7 year stretch. It was like you went on Rogan. I saw it happen to me. Like, going on Rogan, life changed immediately, right? And when that was the case, all these comics were real fucking quiet. Nobody said a peep. No one said, and if they disagreed with something, they were just silent. Now going on Rogan once isn't going to immediately change your career. So then comics go, okay, well, I can't make it immediately off of Rogan. I can't make it immediately off Tony. I guess I'll sandbag these motherfuckers while, the internet is coming after them. I think that's what it is. I think it's purely, where is my salvation? And now they see their salvation as like, oh, I'm going to separate myself from the manosphere because there's so much criticism on the internet. And it's like, no, that's the time where you should lean into the people who helped you. That's the time where you should be a good, solid friend. That's the time where you should refute fake narratives about someone who helped you when you offered nothing to him. All these people that went on Rogan, they offered nothing to Rogan. He literally gave them a platform, and the biggest platform on the planet, millions of people that can go come out to your shows. You made millions of dollars off this guy, and now you're gonna fucking sandbag him, let other people come on your show to fucking talk shit about him? That is you don't want that motherfucker in a foxhole, put it that way. And people know that. People know that at their core. Like, your fans might support you right now, but they know you're a rat. And, and your time is gonna come, and then nobody's going to be there to help you. And now you see all these little fractures and everybody ripping people in different ways. And then comedians having other comedians on their podcast and then forgetting how to riff.
Oh, that fucking drove me crazy.
It's like, all of a sudden, I don't know how to riff.
Now your premise is offensive to me.
Yeah, oh my God, you can't use that word. You used to be on a podcast that was like known for riffing about the most fucked up shit.
Yup.
And now all of a sudden, it's like, oh, I don't know how to do comedy.
Oh,
That's a bad word.
Yeah, what are you saying? Well, I don't understand what you're... So here's what you're trying to say. No, what I'm trying to say is a joke. Let me say the crazy thing and then let me land.
It's funny. You white comics is acting like black comics. It's crazy.
Cat Williams ruined it all. Cat Williams went on Shake, start talking shit.
So shit's getting really entertaining now. I mean, it'll be interesting to see how comedians react to this. Like, between this and Rogan's last podcast, there's going to be a lot to respond to. So make sure you subscribe to keep updated and check out the Patreon. I just talked about how now MAGA's also turning on Rogan, and he's getting a ton of shit from them too. So he's just going through it, the poor guy. Same thing with Theo Vaughn. He bombed at his Netflix taping and then got humiliated by a reporter he tried to hit on. I've been covering all that over on Patreon, so make sure you check it out. It's definitely worth it. I'll put a link in the description.